Now get ready for Watching Weird, your ultimate destination for mind-bending movie reviews and recommendations. From hidden gems to cult classics, we explore it all. Hosted by storytellers and cinephiles Alan Gamboa, Scott Baker, Rich Restucci, and Hadley Thorne, with a special shout-out to Landa Saldana and Alan Lasseter for their incredible support that help us keep the lights on at Weird. Now grab your Coke, popcorn, and tinfoil hat, and let's get weird.
Good morning.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Weird Wednesday, everybody.
Look who has returned. Everybody get a hearty, heartfelt welcome to the boss who has decided to join us tonight.
She was getting too many complaints about our behavior.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I didn't think
Plus,
y'all
we're
wanted me to
doing
come
her
back.
favorite. Oh, we did.
We are very happy
do.
to have you back.
Yes.
I guess
We missed you.
all we got to do is throw vampires and then make Senor show up.
I know, right? How long? When was your last show? Do you remember when it was?
I know it was at least December because I remember Christy and Jennifer talking during the show, and I was like, "Well, I can't do this."
Well,
It's been a while.
it's good to have you back.
Yes, it
You
is.
came in on some bloodsuckers, and everybody knows that Hadley is a vampire fan.
No one is watching.
That's all right. Still be here.
Yeah, I sent out things to everybody that usually shows up to remind them that we're on, because sometimes they'll forget. They'll be carrying on with things in their lives. And then,
never. We're not their number one thing.
How dare
No.
they?
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I've come to learn we're not the number one in
Well,
everybody's purview.
I am still working on getting my office together. So tonight I'm on the laptop in the middle of the living room with Jennifer walking by and the dogs going crazy. So you hear other stuff and bad sound. That's me.
See, that's the nice thing about having an avatar for your, live, because you could be in your underwear eating a tub of ice cream,
With a burrito.
Yeah,
That sounds like my
with a
Friday
burrito. I'm gonna try that. That sounds good.
Burrito
So-
spoon. See, now I'm a little nervous that I did something wrong and didn't advertise this because there's nobody here.
It came up on my Twitter, at least,
Okay, good.
showing that we're on.
Good.
Yeah, I got advertised on Twitter when we came on.
Good.
I got a note.
From
Yes.
No, I got a note that we were live. So
oh, okay. I had no idea where those notes would come to, so I never got them. I just started, and everybody's happy.
Yeah. Well, shoot, that is odd.
Hey, there's Tony I. We do have somebody.
Oh,
hey, buddy. You're the
Tony.
first one in. It's good to see you.
hey, Tony, I missed you.
Look who the cat dragged in, Tony.
The boss is back.
Kicking and screaming, Tony.
The lovely
Boss
and
is back.
talented Hadley Thorne has rejoined us. And
There's Lando. Hey, Landa.
Hey, Landa.
They're slowly coming in. See, we aren't just number 2 in their lives. We're kind of number
Yeah,
3.
we're just number 2.
7.
Well, tonight we're doing vampire movies,
Yeah.
and we're doing Sinners, The Invitation, and the classic Blade. Rich will talk Sinners tonight. Scott's gonna talk Blade. Heather will be talking everything about Sinners. She's got some inside scoops, and I will be doing The Invitation tonight. So, do you want to start out, Rich, with because this will probably be the longest one. This will be the longest segment, probably longest movie.
So I got Sinners. It's a 2025 vampire flick starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Omar Miller, who I really like, and Delroy Lindo. Let me start off by saying, when my books get turned into movies, if he's still alive, Delroy Lindo is in those flicks, or I'm not signing on.
Delroy
He's one of my
Lindo,
favorite
love it.
actors. I love him. I like Michael B. Jordan. He's a damn fine actor. And that's about all the good in this film. Jordan plays twins in this 1930s gangster vampire wannabe film, and both twins are back from the war, pissed off about racism in the Klan, and they want to start a nightclub. Excuse me. The first 36 minutes of the movie, which is 2 hours and 17 minutes, has no vampires. And when the big vamp shows up, you get a little bit of gore, then another half hour with no bloodsuckers. Then you're flooded with hive-minded singing and dancing harmonious nocturnum, with the folks in the bar being turned one by one until only a few remain to stave off the evil which has to be invited in. There were a few good scenes in this one, but it took so long to get there that I almost turned it off. I kept watching because I love our fans and wanted to let you guys know that you're probably better off watching some English muffins toast in the toaster than watching this film. All right, so it wasn't that good. It just needed some good stuff up front, which it didn't have. And had I thought this was a gangster movie, or even better, if I didn't know there were vampires in it and I got surprised, this would have been a lot better. It would have been a great flick. And I didn't hate the ending either. I kind of liked the way it went at the end. Sinners is getting rave reviews, so it's probably just me. And with a budget of $100 million, this one is a smash, grossing $351 million worldwide so far, and it has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Set in Mississippi but filmed in New Orleans, blues music plays a big part of this film, and Boo Mitchell stepped in to assist. Excuse me. Haley Steinfeld, who wrote and sang the song "Dangerous" to the movie. This is one of those few films that Warner Brothers produced where they didn't use their in-house label, and the soundtrack was under Sony Music. So the music was great, cinematography's pretty good, but it took too long to get where it needed to be, and as such, I'm not going to rate this as high as everyone else does. I'm not going to rate it low, because like I said, I'm kind of in the middle. Maybe I'll watch it again just to see if I missed anything, but I don't think so. What did you guys think? Yay, nay? What did you think?
I'll jump in. Let the boss. Yeah, boss, go for it. You got stuff. Hey, Tony.
I wanted to love this movie. And there are parts about it I could see what they were trying to accomplish. Because, I mean, this is a lot of the mythos of the Mississippi Delta is woven into the storyline. And it's masterfully done, but it dropped short. You know, they're pulling a lot from the Robert Johnson story about, you know, making a deal with the devil at the crossroads. But some of this just fell short for me. And I'm sorry, there are going to be spoilers. That's the whole reason I jumped on. That's to spoil it for everybody. The Choctaws, they didn't take that storyline anywhere. So, number one, why was the vampire out in the daylight? What was so terrifying about the Choctaws being after him that he had to run to a farmhouse and risk being burned alive? And this is in cotton fields too, so how the hell did he survive? And he gets there and he has enough strength to overpower that another human male in good shape and then take down a female. That I didn't really understand that. That was one of the big problems that I had. And I think I mentioned this earlier. There was a point towards the end, and I'm sorry, I got feedback somewhere. I'm not sure who's, probably me. But is that better? No? Okay.
You sound good.
You sound fine
good right now.
Okay. All right. Well, so the other problem that I had was when it came back around to at the end of the movie, after the big fight scene, when the Klan members show up and Michael B. Jordan he goes like complete Rambo on these Klan members, but it was just like I could hear in my head the pitch of of whoever wrote it or directed it telling the producers, well, and then we'll have a big fiery gun sequence with Michael B. Jordan killing all the Klan members in a, big, it was just over the top. Like I said, it really made me think of like Tropic Thunder because it made absolutely no sense why this guy had all these guns. I mean, yeah, I get that he's a bootlegger and they had guns, but come on. I mean, it just didn't sync with the story. But this was a great. I'm getting a text message. Turn my phone off because y'all are more important than whoever's text messaging me. But it was just, like I said, it kind of fell short there. I did like the way that it moved. Also, I don't know if y'all were confused when Bootsy Collins showed up in the middle of that one scene when they're playing the blues in the beginning before the vampires show up.
Okay.
And it had all the ancestors, but then it went to the future, and there's Bootsy Collins walking around in his, platform boots and his glasses, playing his guitar. So little things like that, it just didn't work for me. And like I said, I'm from Mississippi. I wanted to love this. I love the spooky aspect of the Devil at the Crossroads. Loved it. But they weren't able. And God, don't let me forget Vampire Riverdance. Vampire Riverdance was a WTF moment for me. I did not understand what was happening. And if we had gone into having some musical number, but anyway, that was my take on it. I wanted to love it. I did enjoy it because y'all know I'm a fangirl. I love me some vampires, but it did not live up to my expectations of it after having seen people's reviews because people love this movie.
Yeah.
People also love the Twilight movies. So,
So one more thing before we move on to a different reviewer. I took this Irish vampire, the bad guy. I took him to be not a new vampire. He seemed to me like he was a couple of 100 years old at least, knew what he was doing, and the hive mind thing was just a little odd. But I'm going to give away a spoiler, so if you haven't seen this, then just don't listen for the next 15 seconds. How the hell did he get caught out in the sun like that? You're a vampire for 200 years. You don't get caught in the sun like that. You dig a hole, for Christ's sake. And this guy's like, oh, the sun. And he's toast. It was ridiculous.
Not to interrupt you, but in his history, when he was giving his history, he was a Irish peasant when the Christians came to Ireland. So he was, 600, 700, 800 years old.
So you don't get caught in the rain.
Well,
that happens.
And that's the thing. What was it that the Choctaws had, and why didn't they ever come back around to that?
I don't know. Maybe that's going to be Sinners 2, and it'll be the Choctaws before. Well, I don't want to wreck anything else for anybody, but it'll be before the end of the movie. What happened there? That would be cool.
I did like how they had a lot of the different nationalities represented that live in the Delta. So I thought that was interesting. Though there are a bunch of Italians up there, and they did not show them. So shame on y'all for leaving out the Italians.
Yeah.
We always get left out.
Scott, what do you think of this?
I didn't bother. I've watched every movie we've ever reviewed. 25 minutes into this, I was aggravated. The movie was going nowhere. There were no vampires. I couldn't figure out what it was. I got too much to do. I shut it off, went over, watched The Invitation. I don't know. I'm not going to watch this one again. So maybe if I'm like sick and it comes on and I'm too tired to reach the remote, but if you cannot, for a vampire movie, if you cannot show vampires for 30 plus minutes, then, go do something else.
I will say that once the vampires start, it was worth watching.
I don't know.
But
Well, remember,
I had some issues with it.
I work school. I work, when I get home, I'm doing the writing and the marketing. Any movie that doesn't catch my interest within 15 minutes, I get rid of. I just don't continue watching. I tried with this one, but it was like the more I watched it, the more it was like, put this damn thing in. And if I'd known it was 2 hours and 17 minutes, I probably wouldn't have lasted that long. But as Landis said, I'm Mr. Tubi. I know it's a joke.
Just a tube.
It does get better. It gets better right at the 36-minute mark. It gets better, but it's still once they're at the bar and things escalate a little, it is watchable. It's not terrible. It's just it took so long to get there, and then after you see the vampires, it takes so long for anything else to happen.
Oh.
But if you could skip to the bar part, you might like it.
I like this one. I like the character development that it took to get there. There were a few things I didn't like you said, when they were, like you said, Heather, with the representation of, we know where the music's going. We know where it's at. We're looking back now. We're not looking ahead. We know. And that kind of takes you out of the movie. Some of the musical scenes needed to be cut shorter. They just went on too long, I thought. The music was great, though. The blues were really good. I love the Irish Vampire River Dance. It was like, I was like, what the F? And then I enjoyed it, but it went on too long. But it showed the hive mind, Stack dancing with, what's her face from what's her name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley, and she actually sings too. I guess she's got a singing career too.
She sang the song "Dangerous" in this film.
Yeah, so she actually can sing. I just remember her from True Grit. She played the
that's
Kim
where I
Darby
recognize her
character.
from.
Yeah, and the acting was all good. I'm like you, Rich. I love Delroy Lindo. I thought he had passed. I hadn't seen him in so long and something, but dang, I'd watch anything with him in it. And like you said, if they made something out of my books, I'd love for him to, be one of the characters in it, because he's great. And it's good watching. Michael B. Jordan's okay. He's an okay actor. I like watching things with him in it. I don't think he's a great actor, but I think he's an okay actor. Okay, except, he Without Remorse sucked because that wasn't the book. They made the movie out of with him in it. That was not the book. Anyway, that's the beef I have with Michael B. Jordan. That wasn't the book. Anyway, I enjoyed this. The gore was great. Had some good gore in it. Once it got going, you cared about the characters that died, and there was a lot of them. Almost, spoiler alert, everybody almost dies in this thing. I thought the ending was good, but like you said, Heather, the last part where, he pulls out all the guns and kills all those guys, kind of, there was a point to that, which they probably sold to, the producers of this.
It was over the top. It was over the top, and it didn't fit the pace of the movie. I mean, it was like all of a sudden they had this big action flick thrown into horror. And like I said, it kind of messed up the story for me. Because
I think it's
supposed to be
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it showed some of like that he was a soldier. They kind of hit on it a little bit, but he was one of the Harlem, I forgot what unit it was, but the Harlem guys that went over there during World War One. Because when he opens up the case, there's the old World War One helmets in with those Tommy guns. You see that in there. So he brought it over from Europe. And I think they were kind of putting that point out there a little bit too. I don't know. I enjoyed this movie. Surprisingly enough, Tina enjoyed it. I think some of it could have been cut down a little bit. Like the Irish River Dance part went on way too long. It was funny though, cracked me up, and I liked just how all the vampires were dancing, and I just thought that was great. But music was a big part of this movie. Is part of the spirituality of the whole thing. So in the ending, with the guitar playing kid. I thought that was kind of cool. You
Yeah.
know, the very ending. I thought that was really cool. Um, Jack O'Connell as the lead vampire. He's been in a lot of good stuff. Jack O'Connell, a movie called 71 about the Irish troubles. He's an English soldier trapped in Ireland trying to get back to his unit. It's a good movie. If you've never seen it, you should see it.
I like
But
the
he's in it.
vampire teeth. Did you
Yeah,
notice
yeah,
them? They were
Yeah.
really well done.
yeah. And if you watch Rogue Heroes, Jack O'Connell is in that. The second season, he's the lead.
Is that where I recognized him from?
Yeah, yeah. So I enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't watch it again. It's long, and I've seen all the points that it makes. I wouldn't watch it again, but I would recommend it. If you've got time on your hands,
Hey,
there's
birthday girl.
hey Bethany, happy birthday.
Hey, Bethany, happy birthday.
There's musical zombies. I mean vampires. Well, they kind of are zombies. I'd recommend this one. It's not one I'll ever watch again, unless I, like Scott, drop the remote, can't find it, and it's on. But I do recommend it at least once.
I am going to rewatch it because I didn't have subtitles on this one, and I didn't understand some of the dialogue. So I really want to
Yeah.
rewatch it where I have a better understanding of what was being said. Not that
Well,
I
I
feel
thought you would.
like
I thought you would understand it because they all talk like you. But I get that. I get that. So what are we gonna rate this, folks?
I'll give this one a 3. I think if it was 40 minutes shorter and they got to the vampires quicker, I would have loved it. And I think, honestly, if I had just sort of started watching this movie with no idea what it was about, I would have thought, hey, this is a gangster movie. I'm going to stick with this
Yeah.
and see how it goes. And then I would have gone, holy shit, what is going on? And it would have been great. But thinking this was a vampire flick going in, and it just wasn't for the first, third of the movie, that bothered me.
Well, and I guess because I am familiar with the folklore of the Crossroads and all, and the blues, that I knew it wasn't a mobster movie. I mean, they were layering that into the story, and it had if you're from down here, you would have known it. It's very much in our culture, and like I said, I was really looking forward to this movie. The problems I had that take away from the story to me was the big gap with the Choctaw Indians, the big gap with the Vampire River Dance, and then the over the top Tropic Thunder moment. There, and it pulled it down to about a 3 for me, or 3.25, because I'm going to give it a higher rating than Rich, simply because it does have a lot of the mythos and culture from the area that I was raised in. And I will say, like, they've had two, like, the movie producers and directors and some of the actors have come to Clarksville, Mississippi twice now to do films reviews. So it's really nice that they're making an effort to kind of bring some acknowledgement to that area, because that is one of the poorest areas in the nation, if not the poorest.
The area was beautifully filmed. I like
Well,
that.
it's
You got
filmed
the
in
feeling of
Louisiana,
it.
like Rich said, but it does look very much like the Mississippi Delta.
Yeah, I like the way it was filmed. Definitely. And Scott, you're not going to rate. Are you going to rate this one?
I
What you
can't.
watch
I
of it?
didn't watch it, so it wouldn't be fair for me to rate it.
All right.
It's
Larry,
3 out
we're
of
doing
5,
3 out of
right?
5. 3 out of 5. I'll give it a 3.5. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I probably wouldn't watch it again. But I did enjoy it. But I will say this: it took me 3 nights to watch it, so it might have been a little easier that way.
Well, if you're
I
one
don't
of
know.
those cultured people who are looking at it for like the underlying story that it tells, it does have a very good look at some of the cultural problems that were going on then and now. I mean, it doesn't just happen here, but but it did have a lot of layers to it that made it interesting. And I can see if people were looking for that kind of film, but I mean, let's face it, the four of us were looking for blood and guts, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I didn't know Delroy Lindo was in this one, so it surprised me when his character popped up. It's like, oh crap, I haven't seen that guy since Broken Arrow or one of those movies. So that was a treat for me. I like how smart though the lady that practices the voodoo, witchcraft, whatever, the healer lady was.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Get the body outside, get it outside," and they're like, "Oh, get the body outside! No, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to die."
Well, I liked how that one guy said, "I used to date a vampire girl. She bit me all over."
Yeah.
I want to know more of that story.
They definitely, you could see the money that they put into this movie on the screen. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, and
nothing
the
really
vampires
looked
were
fake.
creepy. The eyes of the vampires, I really like it when they do their eyes like that. I mean, there was some really good elements, like the teeth. I like that and I don't know if you noticed his fingers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When he was holding Sam or Preacher Boy, they were really creepy. But it was, to me, like I've seen a vampire. If this is how I would see a vampire versus those in Blade and versus those that you see like in 30 Days a Night, they were a little more monstrous than what I think a real vampire would look like. But these were pretty much dead on what I think vampires look like.
Well, I did like when he had a hold of Sammy's head, like you said. They did mix the voodoo and vampire culture really good, like Larry said there. But I like when he was, grabbing him in the water, and then you see the marks later on in the movie. I thought that's pretty cool. But yeah. Well, shall we move to another movie then?
Sure.
The Invitation.
You want to do? Let's do Blade, Scott. Just because you didn't get to say much on this one.
Okay. Blade is a classic. If you have not seen this movie by now, shame on you. It stars Wesley Snipes as Blade, the Daywalker. It was made in 1998 by... Come on. My mouse doesn't want to work.
Stephen Norrington.
Was that who directed it? Okay.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's just, this movie would not be, for anybody who doesn't know, it begins with this guy is picked up by a very attractive woman, Raquel, who was played by the old porn star Tracy Lords, and she leads him to this big underground rave. And he's thinking he's going to get lucky, and then all of a sudden, blood starts pouring from the fire extinguisher system overhead, and he finds out that he is now in a vampire rave, and he is going to be the buffet. And just when you think the guy's going to get killed, he's crawling on his hands and knees to get out, and he runs into Blade. And after that, it's just any of the vampires that stick around are dead. The whole theme of this movie is Stephen Dorff, who plays Deacon Frost, who if I remember, he's like the main vampire from the series. He has figured out a way to make himself an immortal vampire. And the whole movie is Blade working with this doctor who was attacked by vampires, and he rescued her. She was bitten, but they were able to find a way to reverse the vampirism in her. They're trying to stop Deacon Frost from becoming like the vampire overlord and eventually ruling the world. And on the Deacon Frost front, he is not I can't remember what they called him, a true blood, I think. He was turned while he was human, whereas all the others were born as vampires. Udo Kier, who was the head of the vampire capital, I think he was great in this one. And Deacon Frost is one of the many masters that sits on the council, but he's young, he's impetuous, he's narcissistic, and at one point he uses all of the old vampires as the sacrifice to make himself the big uber vampire. This is a fantastic movie. And watching it like for the 80th time, I realized it is still because of Wesley Snipes. He is perfect as Blade. David, I can't find a single flaw in him. I know he pretty much, he's the character from the Marvel book, but I think he completely redoes this character from the Marvel book. He's tough. He doesn't care. His whole job, his mother he's a daywalker because while his mother was pregnant, she was attacked by vampires and bitten. And he was then born. So he's half human, half daywalker. And his whole thing now is to get revenge on the vampires. It's a brilliant movie. Again, I'm not going through a lot of details because I think almost everyone here has seen it. It was funny because originally they were thinking of making Black Panther back then in '98, and they wanted Wesley Snipes to be Black Panther, but then they delayed the movie and said, "Hey, would you like to do Blade instead?" The movie's fantastic. One thing I read that was interesting was the original movie at the end, Deacon Frost, he became like a big bloody blob. And the audience hated that. They loved the fight scene, like when he cut his arm off and then the arm would rematerialize back on. Sorry, guys, if I'm out of it. We're in the last week of school, and it's absolutely dealing with the gremlins who do not want to be there as madmen.
Are you graduating this year?
No, I'm still stuck. I'll be going back next year. I might be the only one the way things are going. But it's a great movie. This movie would have been good without Wesley Snipes. It rocks because of Wesley Snipes. He was great in Blade 2. He was the main reason why Blade Trinity was successful. I know he did not like working with Ryan Reynolds, but he was good. I love it. And I watched the Blade TV series when it came out several years ago. Well written, well acted. In my opinion, it fell on its face because it wasn't Blade. It was that other actor whose name I can't think of.
Sticky Fingers.
And I'm not even going to watch the new Blade movie when it comes out. Because if it's not Wesley Snipes, it's not going to be worth it.
Well, Scott,
yes,
it may be Wesley Snipes. Ryan Reynolds is really pushing for it.
Good. I hope he comes back. He is great in that role. Yeah, I mean, come on. The scene where he kills the guy and the glasses go flying and he catches them and then puts them on and starts to fight. To me, he is the best vampire hunter ever. Even a little better than Peter Cushing.
Boss, what do you think?
This is one of my favorite movies. And I have done my best friend a disservice because she's never seen it. But one of the things that makes this so great of a platform for Wesley Snipes is he's a trained martial artist and he did a lot of his own stunts in it. Yeah. So it really adds authenticity to this movie. In addition to that, and I don't know if y'all realize, this was the first successful Marvel movie, and it paved the way for all the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So I love Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost. To me, he's one of the scariest vampires ever. Mm-hmm. He embodies that cold, just I guess inhuman aspect of vampires. And there's just scenes in this that stick with you, like when they take that pure blood vampire's teeth, they take his fangs.
Yeah.
That's just such a classic scene. But this movie to me is just chef's kiss perfection. I love every aspect of it, from the music choices to the people who they had acting in it and the stories. Which, another thing, I don't know if y'all caught this, but the city they're supposed to be in is New Orleans.
Oh, I didn't
wow.
know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a scene when I can't think of his name, but it's Donald, whatever is the
Donald
vampire.
Logue.
Donald Logue.
Donald Logue.
When he attacks the doctor in the hospital, Blade can be seen looking at a map, and the map is of New Orleans. And a lot of the comic books take place in New Orleans. So I thought that was interesting, but I digress. But yeah, this is a complete 5-star for me. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too soon.
That's right. It happens all the time.
All right.
Rich.
Now, see, I like this. Bethany is getting rizzy about the old guy, Whistler.
Whistler's supposed to come from a long line of vampire hunters, and it's actually his sword that Blade is using.
Is he one of the Sons of Midnight in the comics?
No
I'm not
idea.
sure.
No, I've never. But I love his background in this movie. He was forced to watch vampires, torture, and tried to make him choose which one dies first. And so,
Yeah.
He's got the same vendetta against the vampires.
Yeah.
But he's crotchety. He gets the job done, and he doesn't give a crap. So maybe that's why I like him.
Rich?
Again, it's some stellar acting there with
Oh, yes.
Chris Christopherson, who I adore. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. I thought Whistler was great in this. There's nothing bad about this flick. I was watching it. I watched it last night, and my daughter, who's 23 or soon will be, she had gone out and she came back, and she came in right at the moment where they're having the big ending fight, and Steven Dorff gets cut in half, and all this like gooey blood is like stretched out, and then he pulls back together, and she goes, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "You've seen this. This is Blade." She goes, "Oh yeah." So part of me wants to say it's dated, but it's not. It was great. Even that scene, I knew it was coming. I've seen this movie 10 times. I knew that was coming. It was fantastic. A few of the things that get overlooked in this film are Donald Logue. He's one of the best parts of this movie. He's the comic relief in this. He's a vampire. He's like that. He's the big burly buddy that wants to do all the fun stuff and just not really follow by the rules. And it works. He pulled it off. And another one is I can't remember the guy's name, his actual name, but he plays Curtis, and he's the first person in the hospital to get bitten by this.
Curtis Webb. The actor
Tim Guinea.
is Tim Guinea.
Tim Guinea. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I just couldn't remember his name. He's actually really good in this too. He gets turned into this sort of like vampire zombie thing that I guess it happens sometimes in our universe, and it was pretty cool. But this is a movie that I've seen. It's got to be 10 times. I've seen this, and I've seen the other two a whole bunch as well. I absolutely love this film. It was. I think the Hulk might have come out before it, like the old Eric Bana Hulk. I can't remember when that came out. But this was just catapulted Marvel back into the spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted, everybody was like, oh, we need more Marvel. And then, of course, Marvel just exploded. And Stan Lee got his just desserts. He finally got, recognized, on the stage instead of just, for comic books. So it was, like I said, done well. Love it. Watched it 10 times. I'll watch it 10 more, I'm sure. If, for the next 15 minutes I live. What did you think?
The Eric Bana. sorry, the Eric Bana, the Hulk, came out in 2003.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Love this movie. I do like Blade 2 better. Uh, I think it's a better movie, but Blade brought everything into the light, so to speak. Day walked us in there. It's got a great cast. Stephen Dorff's always good.
Yeah.
Donald Logue, I love Donald Logue, so his part in here, him messing with the blade. Hey, what's up? That's great. That's awesome. And if you've seen the Deadpool Wolverine movie, Blade's back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Wesley Snipes comes back. He's got a pretty good part in it. And like I said, after that, I guess him and Ryan Reynolds have obviously healed things that were going on during the filming of the third movie, which I like the third movie. I thought it was great because it brought Hannibal King in, the Sons of Midnight characters. I like that. If you follow the comic books back in the day, Sons of Midnight were a big part of this. But yeah, they're talking about making a Blade movie with Blade.
Yeah.
And bringing him back into it. And Ryan Reynolds has a lot of power in Hollywood, so it may come to fruition, may not. But if you're jonesing for Blade, watch the new Deadpool movie. You'll get a good dose of Blade in that. Definitely. This is a fun movie. What do you guys want to rate it? I got nothing more to add because you guys said it all. So
I'll throw a 5 at this one. This is one of the few films that I'll give a 5 to. I just love Blade.
Yeah.
and the boss prematurely hit a 5 all over us, so we know what she's thinking.
I feel covered in
How about
5.
you, Scott?
5.
All right, I'll give it a 5 too.
All
This
right.
is
Wow.
the Godfather of all Marvel movies too. So
I can't believe this took us how many years before we reviewed this movie.
right?
And we
Right.
all give it a 5. That's unusual.
Yeah, it's rare. We've only done a few all 5s. I'll jump into mine since we got like a few minutes here. The 2022 is The Invitation, vampire flick starring Natalie Emmanuel from Game of Thrones. Who played Khaleesi's sidekick that gets, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, oh well, I'm going to spoil it for her. She gets killed at the end, and that sparks Khaleesi's revenge. So she's the star of this. Nobody I really know except for the great Sean Pertwee. He plays this horrible, evil butler named Renfield. Wow, Renfield. So Natalie Emmanuel plays Evie. She's a New York wannabe artist. She's struggling, working at catering. She does a DNA test. And this is also dangers about you're doing your DNA test and putting it out there because creepy people will find you. And creepy people do find her. She finds out she has a long lost family in England. So she gets invited to meet the family under pretense of a wedding. She goes, has a great time, meets the Lord of the manor, who she's not related to, Lord Deville. And he's a smooth operator, English dude, just charms her like a Harlequin romance. Well, it comes to turn out, this guy's got secrets. And they're bloody secrets. And you get to see a lot of some bloody stuff, some not. A lot of it's hidden. Sean Pertwee is great in this as an evil butthead of a butler that's got secrets, and this whole movie is about secrets and vampires. I don't want to really give everything away because this is fairly, 2022. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to really give everything away. But there are a lot of good suspenseful moments in it. It's kind of slow in some parts. What do you guys think?
All right, I'll jump in. I'm sorry. Did you want to go, Rick?
No, you go.
I like this movie too. To Craig's thing about the butler named Renfield. There were a lot of references to the classic vampire movies in this.
Yeah.
I think it was Carfax Mansion they lived in. a lot of the characters were like one woman was named I think Tina Harker.
Yeah.
It was paying a homage to the classic movies. I liked this one. I was hooked in it from the beginning. The beginning is a little slow. Once she gets to England, they start reeling you in with stuff that you know it's a vampire movie, so you can see it coming. She doesn't. But once it becomes a full-blown vampire movie, I thought it was extraordinarily well done. The acting is great. I did not expect the ending. The ending is phenomenal. I love it when they do something completely different and you're like, wow, I like that. This ending was good. I enjoyed this one. I went into it thinking I'm going to like it. It was much better than I expected. Everything about it was, everything about it was good quality. I highly recommend it.
Hadley.
About the only thing I can say about this movie is I watched it.
Oh,
It was not a favorite. I don't really remember anything about it. I know I saw it. It didn't really make an impression.
okay.
Fair enough. Rich?
I guess I'll go. I really like this movie. I saw it a little bit ago, and then I watched it again day before last, maybe. And it holds up. It was really good. This is one of those. I mean, it's a vampire movie going in, and it's got a lot of building tension. Once she gets to England and she's in the house, and the weird family is weirding. She gets this big giant room, mansion room, and she's in there, and it's like a 4-poster bed with a canopy on it, and just spooky shit starts to happen. Not just to her, but they hire this group of maids to cater this fake wedding. Well, it ends up not being a fake wedding, but the maids start disappearing, but they don't just disappear. You see what happens to them, and they're getting eaten by a vampire, but you don't know who the vampire is. I mean, you really do. You really know who it is, but you can't. They could throw a twist in there. You never know, but you pretty much got it figured. And then you cue these two other women that show up, pretty girls, and one of them kind of likes the character, and one of them dislikes the character, the main character. And you can kind of tell what's going on there. And this plays to what Scott said about reaching back into old vampire movies and books and stuff, because there's 3 wives. So the main character is supposed to be the 3rd wife. There were a couple of weird things, like the main vampire can be in the sunlight. I guess they could all be in the sunlight. I thought that was a little odd. I don't like when they do that, but it kind of worked for this. And when she's in that room, there's a couple of weird things. One of my favorite things in a horror movie is when somebody looks at like a chair or a piece of furniture, and it's not a chair or a piece of furniture. It's some horrible creature, and they're like, whoa, and then they look back, and it's just a chair. I really like that. I think that's really well done. They actually did it in Monsters, Inc. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was great. And they do that in this film, and there's like glowing eyes and claws, and they just did it really well. I really don't know how this film did at the box office, but I thought it was getting a lot of shade. I thought people didn't like it, and I thought it was good. It's a movie that I'll probably watch again when I need a vampire fix. It's kind of all I got. I thought it was good.
It was made for $10 million and made 38.
Yeah.
So
we would call that a success.
So, what, boss? What do you give this one then? Out of your recollection,
I'm gonna say like a 2.
Okay. Okay. Rich?
I'll give it a 4. I enjoyed this
Wow.
movie. And
Wow.
I think I will likely watch this again just to see if I missed anything. I really like the main character. I think she's great. I think everything I've seen her in, I think she was in the Fast and the Furious too, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I know she played Miss Andai in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
But yeah, I'll watch it again.
Scott?
The movie's called The Invitation. Dan, give it a shot. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, especially when the last half of the movie. I give this a solid 4. Like Rich, I will probably watch it again in like 6 months or a year just to see what I missed.
Well, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I thought it was okay. It had some good stuff in it. I thought it was a little slow, but once they got down to it, I thought it was pretty good. And Jean Pertwee was great. I mean, his character was there was no redeeming element to his character. You did not like him at all.
No.
And it's, come on, Jean Pertwee, come on, man, be cool. But no.
But I love the scene when he's being mean to the main character,
Right.
and then the count comes along and sort of like, I invited her, she's my guest. He had to go very contrite, but yeah.
Yeah, and she wasn't backing down from it either. She was like, "Yeah, he was a jerk."
Well, she was from New York. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, right.
She doesn't know how to bottle.
What?
She doesn't know how to bottle. He was a butler. He was doing bottle things.
Come from a long line of buttles.
Yeah.
Well, so that's it for our vampire movies this week. You guys got anything to throw out there? Anything you watched? Anything recommendation besides that?
So right now,
I'm watching True Blood, and I love it. I think everybody should rewatch it.
Watch what?
Except for the last
True
season,
Blood.
right? Last season.
Oh no,
Sucked.
I only saw one season of True Blood, and that's because my wife made me watch it.
It's hilarious. It's got some of the best just one-liners. It's just a fun watch.
Movie recommendations. It's on Shudder, Amazon Prime. Dead Shack. It is a zombie movie with a twist, and it has a lot of comedy in it.
what was it called?
Dead Shack. I think
Shack?
it just came out. Shack. SHACK. I think
Dead
it
Shack.
just came out this year, if not late last year. But Lauren Holly's in it as the bad guy. And I'm thinking she's not going to do well in a movie like this. She actually does fantastic.
Oh,
It
wow.
was fun. I mean, it's what you expect it to be. It's a not expensively made zombie movie with tons of blood, guts, and gore, and a lot of comedy.
Okay.
I'm looking at
Rich?
that now.
Yes, Craig.
You got
I'm
anything?
sorry. I was just saying to Craig, yes, my nephew and I are looking forward. We're going to go see it.
I started watching. It's a Korean TV show. It's called. Oh my god! I just had it in my head and it just left.
Squid Game?
Hellbound.
Oh,
It's about these three sort of big hulking demon things. And they come in and they tear you to pieces and then put their hands over you and you fry and go to hell. But before that happens, this sort of weird face comes in and says, you've got this amount of time and you're going to be dragged to hell. So it spawns these two groups. One of them is called the New Truth, and they believe this is God's will, and they start getting really, really powerful, and it just kind of it goes from there. And there's a leader. He's called the chairman, and he ends up getting I can't remember what the word they use for it, but he ends up getting the same thing that the demons end up getting him, but nobody knows about it. And there's another group called Arrowhead, and they are this group of like teen and 20-year-olds, and they come in and they'll grab the sinners and they beat them with sticks and stuff like that. And it's really well done, and it's about power fractions and struggles, and eventually, I don't want to wreck it for anybody, but something really cool happens where, I don't know how to say that without wrecking it for anybody, but it's definitely worth a watch. I'd give it a watch.
I saw
You get a
that.
new season?
What's that?
Season, or
Yeah,
have they got a new season?
seasons midway through the second season.
I didn't know they started the second season.
Okay, yeah, first season was good.
Yeah, it was
What-
good.
Mayhem was good.
What channel is it on?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Dead Dicks. That's not like something after a few shots of whiskey.
It sounds like the Ron Jeremy biography.
Right? Mayhem was pretty good. Have you seen that one with Stephen Ewan where they're
Who?
in the office and they fight each other? It's kind of like
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Belko Experiment, but
Yeah, it was
it's
good.
funny.
that's been out for a
Yeah.
minute too, right? It's been around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good flick. Definitely. I haven't
Deadshot.
seen anything.
Tamara or Tamara, I don't know how you pronounce it. That one was very good.
Oh, I remember when that came
That's
out.
an
I've never
older
seen
one.
it. Yeah. No, I haven't seen that one. How about you, boss? You got time to watch anything new besides True Blood?
I've been watching The Better Sister. It's kind
Is
of
that
a suspense show. It's pretty good. I've watched a couple of things. I'm all caught up in the Puff Daddy trial. I hate to say, but I am.
I haven't seen a single second of it.
No.
Well, yeah, that's the work I used to do. So he got busted when I was still working in human trafficking. So I just want to see what's going to happen. It's been interesting. Yeah, just keeping it real. Haven't had a lot of energy to really get into any movies.
All right, let me ask you a question without getting into politics. Do you think he's guilty?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Because I've heard some people say they all think he's guilty, but they don't have the hard evidence.
Oh no, they got the evidence.
Oh,
The first couple of weeks, they were really focused on the domestic violence aspect of it, and then it really, like, when they started talking to other people, the more the RICO aspect of it came out.
okay. All right, good.
I am somewhat embarrassed to say I don't even know what he was arrested for. I know it was a sex thing, and that's all I know. I don't know anything
He
else.
was Rich, where have you been?
I
He
don't
was arrested, and they had so much baby oil and LUBE that it has been a joke for years now.
No, I've been seeing that. I can't really put it together because I don't know what he was arrested for. Like I said, I know it had something to do with sex and trafficking, and that's it. Because I've stayed away from it. I just haven't seen anything about it. But I've seen all the memes and stuff like that, and there are lots of them.
Well, he found this girl when she was 19, and he was like almost 40. So right there, you have a power dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is he was in control of her career, which never got launched because he was basically using that, dangling the carrot before the horse, you know? So he got her to do a lot of stuff. And the problem when you have trafficking situations is a lot of times the victim doesn't realize they're a victim. They're so brainwashed. They think this person loves them, you know, and they think they're in a relationship with them. And he was really just dosing her up on drugs and making her have sex with multiple partners while he watched for days at a time and keeping her on drugs while they did it so she would be compliant.
Oh, sounds like they got him. That's a good thing.
there's all kinds of stuff too. If you watch all this, there's alleged murders. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
crazy. He's
it is.
just
It is like a bad Austin Powers villain. You
yeah.
know,
It's
it's so crazy to think that somebody could do that. He had
I mean they
tunnels underneath his mansion. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
no.
Like she testified to the tunnels underneath the mansion. She only went like once or twice, but I mean, and she heard people down there, so she knew there were people that were being kept there. I mean, it's crazy, so
Oh.
crazy.
I heard about the tunnels. I didn't hear about people in them.
Yeah,
And there's so many people that they're calling. I mean that probably aren't involved with the actual stuff, but we're
Yeah.
there at the parties and because they're just bringing on all kinds of celebrities. I'm sure there's a lot that were involved too, you know.
oh yeah.
So
Well, Jamie Foxx said that he tried to unalive him.
yeah, it's crazy that just elements like that, Rich. It's really because I'll watch little things on it, not on the trial, but on him, and just
Yeah.
the allegations and the claims are just you're like, holy crap, because he had so much money. He's a billionaire. That he could pay people to do whatever he wanted to do. But it's crazy. It is bizarre. Once they make the movie of this, once everything gets sorted out, if it ever does, it'll be a heck of a movie to watch.
Be
With
like
all
a
the stuff.
series.
Yeah.
There's already
Yeah.
series. There's series on multiple channels right now, just documenting it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's crazy.
But there
I
were
don't
people.
understand
There
why,
were
if you've
people who
got
all
that money,
along
why
were
you do
saying
that?
there was something up with him.
See, that's why I'm not a millionaire, because I don't have to deal with that.
That's right. You just keep your stuff
Yeah,
on the
me
side.
too. That's
Yeah.
exactly why I'm not a millionaire. I wouldn't want to deal with any of that.
That's the only reason, right, Rich?
Yeah.
There we
They
go.
say money can't buy happiness, but I'd rather sit there and cry in a Porsche than sit there and cry in a Ford. So
Yeah,
I
because you
like
probably
those
have some gal.
Broncos.
You
Did
probably
y'all
have some
watch
gal.
Ford versus Ferrari?
I'm sorry.
Did you watch Ford versus Ferrari?
Yeah, good flick.
No,
No, my
You
son
should
says
watch
it's a great
this,
flick.
too. Yeah, Landa, you're right about that.
Yeah, that's true. Scott, you'd be sitting crying in your Porsche, and some gal would come up and say, "Are you okay?" There you go.
no, I
Then you
just
stop
need
crying.
a hug, a long hug.
It's not because you're Porsche; it's just because you're sad. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, we're over. We are at 1 hour and 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
Y'all missed me 2 minutes worth of overtime.
I'm very glad that you came
I will not
back.
be back next week. Next week I will be out of town.
What are our
You
flicks
tease
next
us.
week?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
Hamburger Hill, born on the 4th of July, I think. Let me look give me a second here, and I got it. And this is what we had originally. Hamburger Hill, born on the 4th of July, and 12 strong.
Okay,
Oh, I like 12 Strong.
Yeah,
never saw that one.
it's a good flick.
Yeah, it's a good flick.
All right.
So y'all are history buffs. I have a question.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Did y'all know that there were German U-boats in the Gulf of Mexico during World War II shooting
Yeah.
boats?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
How
they
did
was
you know this?
they were sitting off the New Jersey shore,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they couldn't believe it because all the lights were on Ocean City and that, and all the big places. And there they were, the blacked out freighters going by. The Germans were sinking them right and left. It was a turkey shoot.
But that's not the Gulf of Mexico.
No, but they even
No.
went down in the Gulf of Mexico.
And they were
doing it.
doing the same thing here. I didn't know that.
Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And actually, they shot and destroyed one of the submarines because apparently they found it.
Yeah.
Oh, Tony,
Amazing.
if you can explain the Choctaws to me, I will reassess my statement.
That's all right, Tony. I think it's one of the few we disagree on. I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite.
Dan, the one off the San Diego coast, wasn't that the Japanese sub? And then Spielberg made the worst movie he ever made based on it, 1941.
Hey, they had one off the Pacific coast too. Northern Pacific coast. It sunk a freighter actually.
Then I don't remember the drive. I remember the Japanese sub came up and fired on an oil refinery.
Yeah, it's around the Humboldt. Was it around Humboldt area or somewhere like that? Yeah, I gotta look that up. But I remember going into a restaurant and seeing that they had it on the wall there.
Well, so we've got a contest going on to name my house, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So far, I've got 4 entries. You know who hasn't submitted anything?
Me.
You.
When is the due date?
Right now.
Because I'm not going to get to anything for another week.
No.
Story right now.
Before the
next Thursday. After that, it's party time for the summer.
Well, it will probably be before the next newsletter, so before the end of the month. But y'all push that contest because if we can get enough, we're going to do a book with it.
All right.
Yeah, mine is weird.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Rich fingered us. It's time to go.
It's time to go. Hope everyone has a wonderful night. Thanks for coming.
See y'all when I come back.
Thanks to Hadley for showing up.
Thank you, boss. We appreciate you showing.
Ciao.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody.
All right, Weirdlings, that's all for Watching Weird this week. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, the strange and unusual never sleeps. Well, except for maybe on Thursdays. Speaking of sleep schedules, here's a quick reminder about our other shows. Dive into the mysteries of the mind with Weird Awakenings every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cozy up with Blondes, books and campfire tales for spooky stories every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hone your craft and connect with fellow writers on Write With Me on the third Sunday of each month. And don't forget, Watching Weird now airs live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all things weird, find us on social media via Linktree in the description below, or visit our website at weirdrealities.net. Stay weird.